Welcome back, everybody. So I thought I'd take you along with a little chore I've got to do today, and I'm going to tell you a little story about something that happened today.
Ooh.
So this morning, while I was inside making breakfast, I had Scout was sitting outside on the patio, and I heard an entire pack of coyotes yipping across the road. It sounded like, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 of them. They were across the road, probably, I'm guessing, several hundred yards from our camp. So I decided to grab my 9mm, and I went out to investigate with Scout. I put my holster on and went out and got out to the road, and I didn't hear any of them. So I went ahead, just in case if I saw any, which I'm not ever sure if I'm going to, I went ahead and drew my pistol and started walking down the road with Scout. And sure enough, about, I guess, 300, maybe 400 yards down the road, a long way, I saw a coyote cross the road. So I went ahead and I took a shot at it. I knew I wasn't going to hit it with a handgun at 300 plus yards, but I figured I could scare it away. So I fired a shot. It started to run. I fired another shot. It started to run faster. Then I kept my weapon drawn, and sure enough, another coyote came out near Aj's driveway, and this one was probably at about, 150, maybe closer to 200 yards. I fired 3 shots at that one. It ran, and this one came from the direction of our property. It came from the opposite direction. So then I waited, and sure enough, about 20 seconds later, here comes a third coyote, even closer, probably 75 to 100 yards away. And this one was running really fast, and I fired on the move. I fired 6 shots at it. I missed, but it was cold out this morning, and I did my best. But it was 17 degrees. I didn't have a jacket on. I didn't have my gloves on, and it was cold. So anyway, next thing I know, here comes a third coyote, or a fourth coyote. And this is probably about 30 seconds later. Here comes a fourth coyote. I can see it running up our easement road, the road that runs down the middle of the property. This is probably about 45 yards away from me, and this coyote is hauling ass. So I took one shot at it as it was coming across the road in front of me, and I missed. So then I noticed it ran over on the other side of the road, and it changed direction and started running directly at Scout. Scout was about 25 yards off to my left, and she had chased the third coyote. And I saw it running directly at Scout, and Scout starting to run towards it. So I took one more shot, and I missed it. And then luckily it ran off, but it actually started running directly at Scout. And it was running basically kind of at a 45-degree perpendicular angle towards me and away from me, running towards Scout. The fact that I was shooting at it didn't scare it off. It continued to engage my dog. I'm really proud of Scout. She wasn't scared. She didn't run off. Of course, she was right next to me, was not scared of the gun at all. She knew exactly what I was shooting at. And this is the first time Scout had actually seen any coyotes. This is the first time she's seen coyotes yet. By that point, when I'm shooting at the fourth coyote, I'm full of adrenaline. My hands were shaking. My hands were both numb from being cold. I did my best, even though I'm a competition shooter. I did my best, but I missed all of them. The closest shot I had was 45 yards with a coyote running at full speed. But 4 coyotes, and the last 3 came toward me even while I was shooting at them. So this pack has gotten very brave, very brazen. I had thought about running out and grabbing my AR-15 on the way out the door. Luckily, I grabbed my earmuffs real quick, and I put them on because I had a feeling I might be shooting. And I'm glad I did. But like I said, the very last coyote was running directly at Scout with me shooting at it. Why do I always carry this with me? So I always have it in this holster, just like you can see. What I'm going to do now is, now that I fired 11 shots, it's time for me to swap magazines because I don't keep the same magazine in the gun forever when I carry, so it doesn't wear out the springs. It's time for me to change the magazine. It's time for me to top it off anyway. And I'm going to clean the gun real quick, so I'll just show you real fast what I do when I clean. Okay, so first, I'm going to take the ammunition and the magazine out of the way. I'm going to unload the gun. So yes, it is chambered. There we go. There's the bolt that was in the chamber. Lock it open, make sure it's clear. Yep. All right, now I'm going to take it apart. Put some gloves on real quick. I always wear black nitrile gloves, or nitrile, whatever you call them. These are 6 mil. They're very thick. They're good for cleaning guns. I'm not going to get too crazy with the cleaning, but I'm just going to show you all what I do real quick. I'm going to grab my cleaning rod. I'm going to grab my swab. I'm going to grab my brush, my 9mm brush, and I'm going to grab the pad swab. Okay, I'm going to pop out the barrel and the recoil spring and the guide rod. And I think this thing's called the block plunger. So you can see it's not very dirty, but I like to keep my guns in perfect order. So, and it's been a few months since I cleaned this. Normally I take this gun apart and I clean it about every 2 months because I carry this thing on the property all the time. So let me grab some cleaning pads here. This is just going to be a real quick down and dirty cleaning. So let's put this in there. I'm using Lucas Oil CLP. This is cleaner lubricant and protectant. Run this through. I'm going to let that work inside there for a few minutes. I also keep paper towels right on hand. Okay, then I'm going to take the pad and I'm just going to wipe it through here, and then I'll end up tapping this with a brush, or just hitting it with a brush real quick. Same thing, I'm going to push it through the slide. Just going to push it through here real quick. You know, 11 shots is not really enough to, most people wouldn't even clean their gun after this, but you know, I'm carrying this thing in a holster all the time in a very dirty environment, and it was time to clean it anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to take my brush. I just use an old toothbrush. I found toothbrushes work great. I've been caring for my guns for years and years and years by using a toothbrush, and I've cleaned my AR, I've cleaned all kinds of stuff, and this is at, you know, competition guns, many times with the toothbrush. Toothbrush works great. It gets the job done, but it's not really too aggressive or too abrasive. Same thing, I'm going to hit the slide, hit the slide rails, I'm going to hit the firing pin plunger, I'm going to hit the extractor, I'm going to hit the outside of the barrel, I'm going to hit the feed ramp right here. There's the feed ramp. Okay, now it's time to clean it off. So first I'm going to try and remove as much of the CLP from my gloves as possible. I'm going to wipe over it with the rag first, with the paper towels first. I'm not going to get too fancy. I'm just going to get in there and get as much as I can, and then I'm going to hit it with the rag. You can see there is some dirt coming off of there. This whole process should take me about 5 minutes. Now, if I had shot hundreds of rounds through this thing, I probably would spend closer to 20 minutes cleaning this gun. Same thing, I'm going to hit the slide. Notice how I'm doing the inside of the barrel last. I'm letting the CLP work inside there on the rifling, okay? Now I'm pushing the paper towel down inside of the slide rail. See that? Look, I'm getting some dirt out of there. All right, now I'm going to take this paper towel, I'm going to push it down. I'm going to fold it and push it down inside of the slide rail just like I did on the other side. Once again, see that? I'm getting some dirt. Now I'm going to hit the face of the bolt and the ejector. Notice how as I'm pushing it, I'm pushing the ejector out. See that? I'm pushing the ejector out. I'm getting underneath it. See that? Look at all that crap that came off of there. Okay. Now that's just the first stage, first part of the cleaning. Now I'm going to hit the outside of the barrel. Okay. I'm going to hit all sides of the block on there. I'm going to hit the feed ramp. See the feed ramp right there? Also, one more step I'm going to take is I'm going to take a piece of 4/0 steel wool and I'm going to put it down inside of the actual chamber. I'm going to give it a couple of turns inside the chamber and I'm going to give it a quick hit over the feed ramp. Okay, now I'm going to change out and go with my brass brush. Here's my brass brush. Okay, I'm going to move that aside. Okay, now I'm going to push the brass brush slowly through, hitting the rifling. Now some people say, oh, you shouldn't go back and forth. You should push it through and then take the brush off, pull it out. You know what? I've been doing this for years. If this was a precision rifle, maybe it'd be different, but it's a handgun. Okay, I look down the barrel. See, show you all down the barrel. I don't know if you can see down in there. See that? You can see the rifling in there. It's pretty clean. So now I'm going to take this off. Okay, I'm going to put the swab back on. Make sure that my pad's in the middle. Now I'm going to run this pad back through there a couple more times. Now see how, since I've already gone through with the brush, see how this pad comes out a lot more dirty? That's all the gunpowder that was on the rifling, okay? Now I'm going to take that pad out. Okay? I'm going to take the swab off. Put my brass brush away. Now this is a nylon brush, okay? A nylon 9mm brush. Now, I do this. Some guys disagree with doing this, but watch this. I'm going to get this perfectly clean with 3 pads, okay? So I'm going to put this over there, and I find that this nylon brush pushes the pad really deeply into the rifling, okay? And I am able to get this rifling very, very clean. See that? All that came out of the rifling because of how tightly this nylon brush pushes the pad into the rifling. So once again, I'm going to hit it again. All right, let's hit it again. Yep, almost perfectly clean. One more time. See that? Almost nothing. A couple of little marks on there, so I'll take one more clean pad, and I'm going to go back through that rifling one more time, okay? I'm going to go back and forth twice. There it is. That rifling is perfectly clean. Now, let me show you. See if you can see down in this barrel. Can you see the rifling in there? See, it's all nice and clean. Feed ramp is clean. Okay, now I'm going to take my clean rag, okay, and I'm going to give this a detailed wipe down. I like using microfiber. I think they do the best job. It really soaks up just about everything. I'm going to get every little nook and cranny clean, okay? Now, I've got the barrel clean. I'm going to set it off to the side. I'm going to take my paper towels. I'm going to wipe the inside of this box out. Now, if you're wondering, why am I using a box like this with lips, with lips around the edge? Because I can't lose any of my parts, okay? If you've ever gone chasing down a part from a gun you're cleaning, you'll understand why I'm doing this. I have not lost a part for any of my guns in a long, long, long time. And the reason why is because I don't mess around. I always use a box like this. It doesn't matter what gun I'm cleaning. So now the same thing. I'm going to give all these surfaces a detailed wipe down. And this microfiber really gets into all the little cracks and crevices really, really well. Okay. So I'm going to get all the way down in there. I'm going to get everything I possibly can. I'm going to get all parts of the slide rail. This is the slide rail right here. That's what this inner groove on the inside of the slide rides on. Same thing, I'm going to go down inside of the, I'm going to pull the slide lock up and I'm going to clean it. See that? I pulled this slide lock up and I'm cleaning all sides of it, pushing it back down. I'm going to run the safety up, clean around the safety on both sides. See that? Cleaning both sides of the safety. Put the safety back down. Okay, I'm going to pull the trigger, move the hammer up. I'm going to get behind the hammer, down inside of the hammer well. Hammer well is back in here. See that? And get all that clean. Cock it again. Put the hammer back. Getting the whole face side of the hammer. And I also got a tiny bit of the sear while I was in there. Okay, so now I'm going to run my finger down inside of the mag well. And now I'm going to push the rag up through the mag well. And when it comes up here through the top, I'm going to pull the entire rag through the mag well. Okay, now the mag well is clean. Okay, now if you look down inside of there, you can see there's a little well down in there where the mag release goes through. Okay, now I'm going to push the rag down in there with my finger and push against that, and I'm going to push the mag release a couple of times back and forth. What that does is I'm cleaning the inside of the mag release from the inside of the gun. Okay, now I'm cleaning behind the trigger and the face of the trigger. And then finally I'm going to wipe off both of my rubber grips. Okay, these are aftermarket grips I put on. These are Hogue grips, if you're wondering. Okay, so I've got the frame clean. Now I'm going to move on to the slide. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see these grooves here on the slide. I'm going to make sure I get those clean. So I'm going to wipe back and forth, make sure I get those really clean. Not that they were dirty, but there could have been some dirt on them, you never know. Okay, now I'm going to get the rear sight clean. I'm going to push down the center of the rear sight. Okay, now this is the hammer plunger. So I'm going to put the rag down in there. I'm going to pull that through. Okay, I'm going to put the rag down inside of the slide and go back and forth vigorously and get that very, very clean. Now, it was already clean from the paper towel. Some people would say that what I'm doing right now is not necessary, but once again, I'm pushing out on the, see that? I'm pushing out on the extractor. See that? This is the extractor. See how I'm pushing out on it? And I'm getting underneath it. Now see how much more dirt came out on the rag? I'm going to do that one more time. I'm trying to make sure I get the underside of that extractor really clean, okay? The reason why is because that's what grabs onto the shell, and you don't want there to be any debris in there, because that will cause your gun to jam. I don't have my guns jam, and the reason why is because I take care of them, plain and simple. Okay, now I'm going to put the rag through the barrel hole in the slide. Make sure that's all clean, okay? Now one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Q-tip, a clean Q-tip, and I'm going to get down inside of the housing that recesses where the guide rod sits. Okay, that's what holds the spring in place. So it doesn't look like there's any dirt in there, but there's always a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to take the Q-tip and I'm going to run it down in the slide rail, the inner slide rail. See that? Looks like it was clean, but once again, see that? There is a little bit of dirt there. There's still just a little bit of black. I want to make sure I get all that really, really clean. Okay, so now I've got my slide rails clean. I've got everything on the, I have everything on the slide is now clean. Okay, now I'm going to take the guide rod spring, the main spring. Okay, I'm just going to put it in the rag and I'm going to give it a few twists. See that? By twisting the rag, I get it nice and clean. Now I'm going to take that same Q-tip, okay, and I'm going to run it down through the center of the spring. Okay, just making sure to get it nice and clean. The inside and the outside of the spring are now clean. Okay, now I'm going to take the a block, as this is called. And I'm going to make sure and get it nice and clean, okay? And then I'm going to oil all these surfaces. See everywhere where there's shininess? That means there's metal-to-metal contact, and those are the areas where you need lubricant. You only need lubricant on the shiny areas of your gun, okay? If there's no contact between metal points, there's no point in putting lube on it. Some people over-lubricate their guns. It's not a bad thing to do if you live in a place like the Pacific Northwest, but out here, where it's very dusty and dry, that can be a death sentence to your gun if you over-lubricate. So I try not to over-lubricate my gun. All right, now I'm going to put away the CLP, and I like to use this Lucas Oil gun oil, okay? Look at this applicator. Do you see that? That little needle? It allows me to put it exactly where I want it, okay? So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another clean Q-tip. Okay, I'm going to put a bunch of this oil on the Q-tip. Get the face of the Q-tip nice and wet, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on the inside of my slide rails, okay? I'm just going to go back and forth a couple of times. See that? Just like that. A couple of times. See this piece right here? Go ahead and run a little bit of lubricant on that, because this is what the slide runs on. This is what rides on the hammer right here. When the slide goes back, it pulls the hammer back and recocks it. Okay, and it also pushes down on this plunger right here, which is called the. I believe this is the. It's part of the safety. I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to take the same thing and I'm going to put this lubricant on the inside of this spring, because that's where the guide rod runs. Okay, there's no reason for me to lubricate the guide rod, but I go ahead and I do that. I'm going to put a little bit more of this on the Q-tip, okay? Now, I'm going to take this Q-tip and I'm going to put it at, see, these are little rails that the barrel rides in as the barrel moves back, and as the barrel recocks itself as the slide goes back, the barrel cants and comes out of battery. And that's where this block comes into play, okay? So I'm going to lubricate that portion of the block, and then I'll show you how that works when it goes back in. All right, so now I'm going to take this slide, I'm going to put the guide rod back in, okay? I'm going to slide the barrel down into the gun, drop it in here. Actually, first, I need to put this back, okay? So this fits. Got to make sure that this little plunger right here is pushed back, goes down in here like this from the side, and goes in. So as the barrel slides back, it pushes on this, and that allows the barrel to cant, okay, slightly. So now I'm going to put this whole assembly down into the slide. See that? Just like that. Now it's down. Okay, I don't know where it turned itself off, but basically I put the slide back on. I've got it all lubricated. Give it a function test, and we're good to go. Safety works. Yep. All right. Works in double action. Okay, there it is. Gun's all clean. Now I'm going to show you all. So you can see today I fired 11 shots. I've only got 9 left in the magazine. So I'm going to put, that's a different brand of ammunition. So I don't like to mix my ammo. So I know that this is clean, but I'm going to go ahead and clean the magazine anyway. So I'm going to pull off the base plate. I'm going to pop out and just double check and make sure that the mag is nice and clean. I'm going to wipe it off real quick. I'm going to push the rag through the center of the magazine. Make sure that she's clean and ready to go. There it is. I'm going to pull the rag all the way through. Put the base plate, put the follower and the spring back in. All right, that's the second time the GoPro shut itself off. I'll tell you what, GoPros really are pieces of crap. I mean, you can't even record a 20-minute video in the wintertime out in your workshop without the damn thing turning itself off. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Okay, here's 20 rounds. Now, if you ever wonder what's the difference between self-defense rounds and regular rounds, I keep regular rounds for shooting at the coyotes, but here they are. This is a self-defense round right here. And this is a regular. They do have loaders for this, and I do have one. I just don't have it out here right now, so I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. Notice how I'm pushing down slightly with my first hand so that I can push the round in with the other one. Makes it a little easier. You always want to use both of your thumbs when you're loading magazines, okay? So there's 19, 20. I got the magazine topped off, so now I'm going to top off the gun, okay? Hammer down, safety on, round in the chamber. Pop the magazine out, put the last round in. Now I'm loaded up with 21. 21 rounds, okay? And then I'll show you 21 rounds back in the holster, okay? Now, real quick, I'm gonna give the gun one final wipe down before I holster it. I carry it in, this is what I call condition 4. This is what I call carrying it in condition 4. Magazine in, full mag in, round in the chamber, hammer down, on safe, okay? This gun can also be carried full mag, round in the chamber, hammer back, safety on, okay? It can also be carried full mag, round in the chamber, hammer down, safety off, which is the same as the military carries their Berettas, okay? Or it can also be carried full mag. Okay, GoPro shut off again. That's the third time it has shut off because it's overheated. It's like 40 degrees out here in the shipping container. It should not be shutting off. I tell you, GoPros are absolute junk, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But, you know, I got $700 into this stupid camera, so I'm going to use it. Anyway, the fourth condition you can carry this in is no round in the chamber, magazine full, hammer down, safety on. That would be the absolute safest way, but I believe in keeping the gun ready to go. So, there it is. Gun's ready to go. Back in the holster. And there it is. I'm back to just regular carry. My gun's all clean and ready to go. So, all I have to do now is just get everything here put away. So, cap back on. Put my stuff away in my cleaning kit. And if you're wondering what my cleaning kit is, here it is. I use a fishing tackle box, and I have a very detailed cleaning kit. I have a very detailed set of tools, and I've got everything for ARs, 12 gauge shotguns, you know, 22, 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum. I mean, you name it, I've got it in here. I've got bore snakes for 22 for my AR, and I got a bore snake for my semi-automatic shotgun. If you're wondering, my AR, I have a competition barrel in it. It has never seen anything but a bore snake. It's never had a cleaning rod ever put down that barrel yet. That's probably why it shoots so accurately. So anyway, let's go ahead and put all this away. I wipe out the inside of the box so it's clean and ready to go for the next time. Put my 2 cleaning rags away. And put my cleaning kit away. There we go. This is the gun club I used to be a member of, Douglas Ridge Rifle Club in Eagle Creek, Oregon. If you ever have a chance to go there, people, you should check it out. It's a pretty cool place. All right, so my other magazine, I need to unload it, so I'm going to just unload it into the... Not very many rounds left, so it should only be 9. Yep, there it is, 9. Put these away for later. All right, there it is. There it is. I hope that that little explanation of how to clean a gun real quick helps you all. Sorry about the GoPro turning off so many damn times. It is what it is. All right, see ya.